Always low prices at Pahrump Valley Auto Plaza.
Speaker for the White House Kevin McCarthy was voted out on October 3rd, which was a first for the U.S. Kevin McCarthy is a Republican from California who was endorsed by Trump and was House Speaker from January until October 3rd of this year, where he was the first House Speaker voted out of the position with a final vote of 216 to 210. When the vote was finalized, it left Congress in turmoil, with one person in the chamber even yelling out, "Now what?" Kevin McCarthy spoke after the voting was ruled and stated that, unfortunately, 4% of our conference can join all the Democrats and dictate who can be the Republican speaker in this House. I don't think that rule is good for the institution, but apparently I'm the only one. I will not run for speaker again, and I'll have the conference pick somebody else. Directly after McCarthy was ousted, many Republicans spoke with the press to talk about the issue. Representative Nancy Mace spoke about how McCarthy would have caused chaos should he have continued to be speaker, and, quote, because he's not been honest with either party. Representative Matt Gaetz, who initiated the vote to oust McCarthy, spoke as well, stating that it was for the benefit of this country that McCarthy was voted out, and stated that Kevin McCarthy couldn't keep his word. However, Republicans like Gaetz and Mace weren't the only ones to have something to say after McCarthy was ousted. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, who voted against McCarthy, also had this to say. Kevin McCarthy brought this madness upon himself. Right-wing Republicans have to solve the problems that right-wing Republicans create. The civil war between the Republican Party has nothing to do with us. And Republican Representative Brian Fitzpatrick also expressed concerns about the ousting of McCarthy, stating that if we vacate the chair, the government will shut down. The temporary acting speaker, Republican Representative Patrick McHenry, declared the House in recess until both parties can decide on a path forward on October 4th. The vote to elect a new House Speaker could potentially be quite the arduous task, however, not only due to many aiming for the position, but also due to McCarthy's own vote into the position of Speaker, taking an unprecedented 15 rounds back in January. Meanwhile, the House has been facing questions of how to avert a government shutdown, whether or not should they continue to fund Ukraine's defense against Russian invasion, and whether or not to proceed with an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. It's been reported that Congress will have to figure out by mid-November on how to pass another spending bill in order to keep the government open. In regards to funding for Ukraine, President Biden stated that what happened in the House on October 3rd worried him, and continued to state that he would soon address aid for Ukraine, which according to reports, additional funding is essential for Ukraine's defenses. President Biden continued to state as well that we cannot and should not again be faced with an 11th hour decision brinksmanship that threatens to shut down the government.